Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and faculty, my name is Jennifer Gottlieb, and I'm the Director of International Relations for the Faculty of Engineering here at Tau. It's really a pleasure to have all of us here tonight at the end of the year ceremony of the Tau International Graduate Programs. Now I would like to ask you to please rise and join me in greeting the class of 2019. MA in Conflict Resolution and Mediation. MA in Social Work, the International Program in Crisis and Trauma. MPH, Emergency and Disaster Management. MA in Environmental Studies. Parasol Foundation International LLM. MA in Middle Eastern Studies. SOFR International MBA. MA in TESOL, teaching English to speakers of other languages. You may sit. Welcome, dear students. I think you guys want to give them another round of applause. Let's give them another round of applause. Welcome, dear students. Tonight we are celebrating in one ceremony the culmination of a journey of close to 300 international students who joined us from all around the world to get their master's degrees. We regret that not all of our students are able to be present tonight, as some students had to go home already. As this event is being live streamed, we are glad that they can at least be with us virtually. So say hello to all of our friends watching us from around the world. About 10 months ago, you, our dear students, came to Israel. It is amazing to think of the amount of achievements and experiences added to your lives in less than a year since that day you were sitting in the Britannia building carefully listening to an orientation guidelines. During these 10 months, we hosted the Eurovision, met Israel's president, Mr. Reuven Rivlin, on campus, and went hiking at the Majraseh Nature Reserve. You have formed a lifelong network, friendships, gained knowledge, and above all, demonstrated outstanding academic commitment. This evening, the focus remains on you. As you graduate, we encourage you to put your newly acquired skills to the test. Get out there. We believe in your ability to make meaningful changes in communities and political and/or nonprofit organizations in Israel or abroad. We look forward to a global conversation among our alumni network. We see you all as long-term partners in our journey to train leaders that will make significant changes across the globe. It is now my great pleasure to welcome Tel Aviv University's Vice President, Professor Ra'anan Ren.
Thank you, Jennifer. Shalom, good evening. I take great pleasure in welcoming you all to this graduation ceremony of the class of 2019. Tel Aviv University is a leading research institution, and as such, it strives to become a truly global university. And international programs, like the ones you have studied in, play a crucial role in this process of transformation that we are all going through. Tel Aviv University has a new president by now, and internationalization is one of the top priorities of our president. This means that we would like to have a larger number of international students at the undergraduate level, the graduate level, and the postdoctoral level. We would like to see more courses taught in English and more degree programs which are international in nature. At the time being, we have 2 international undergraduate programs and about a dozen international master's programs. We hope to double the number within 3 to 5 years. We want to see more international visiting professors, more international winter schools, summer schools, and the like. At the same time, in a world that is increasingly characterized by xenophobia and by building walls instead of bridges, Tel Aviv University sees as one of its main missions the creation of a scholarly and research community which is pluralistic, heterogeneous, and international. We would like to embrace people from as many countries as possible, people of different cultural and linguistic backgrounds, people who can offer us multiple perspectives on the contemporary world and its current challenges. Pluralism, tolerance, and solidarity are among the core values of this great university. We have here with us this evening about 120 graduates from all over the world, including Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Americas, North and South. About half of the graduates, as you've just heard, are already back at home, but hopefully they are watching us now live. One of the other missions here at Tel Aviv University is to produce the next generation of leaders, and I see here in front of me many of you who would certainly become leaders in different fields, in different spheres of life. either in Israel or abroad, in politics, in economics, in culture, in science and technology. I would like to thank the international school known as Tau International. Maureen Meyer and her team have done a wonderful job. I would like to thank all the academic heads of the various programs, as well as the administrative directors. But first and foremost, I would like to congratulate you, the graduates, and to wish you all the success in the next stage of your career. I would like to encourage you to consider the possibility of doing a doctoral program here at Tel Aviv University. There is at least one graduate here among us this evening who is considering writing his PhD dissertation under my supervision, so maybe it's a model for you to emulate. At any rate, by now you are all members of the extended Tel Aviv University family. We want to make sure that you keep in contact with us, that you become ambassadors of Israel at large and of Tel Aviv University in particular. So, toda rabba and behatzlacha to all of you.
Quite a walk. I'm now pleased to welcome Dana Albo and Arnon Ziv, alumni of the Buckman Mehta School of Music at Tau. They will perform for us Blackbird by the Beatles. Thank you, Ranan, as well.
Blackbird singing in a dead of night, take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life you were only waiting for this moment to rise. Blackbird singing in a dead of night, take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life you were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of a dark black night. You were only waiting for this moment to rise. You were only waiting for this moment to rise. Blackbird singing in a dead of night, take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life you were only waiting for this moment to rise. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly, blackbird fly. You were only waiting for this moment to rise.
Thank you to Dana and Arnon. I am now pleased to introduce our valedictorian, Pearl von Herder from Germany, who studied in the Emergency and Disaster Management program.
It is indeed a long walk, especially from all the way over there. Dear fellow students and friends, dear family members, dear mentors, dear faculty, it's my great pleasure and my honor to be here and address all of you today. Israel is a place both of incredibly strong community and inclusivity, as well as a place of segregation and exclusion. It's direct and multifaceted. It is intense, hot, filled to the brim with wildly different lifestyles. Things that are often veiled and hidden in other places simmer here on the surface. In central Israel, everything's close. From Bnei Brak, where the ultra-Orthodox Haredim live, to the shores of Tel Aviv, that hosted the Eurovision this year, to the border with Gaza, staged the Great March of Return protests, to the Wailing Wall, to Gubat al-Shachra, or Dome of the Rock, to the Holy Church of the Sepulchre, even to the cities on the other side of the Green Line. It's less than 100 kilometers as the crow flies. For many, it is also much faster and cheaper to reach all of these places than a trip from where I live in Berlin, for example, than to where my mother lives in Munich. And those two places don't differ that much. As one of my teachers showed us, on the terrace of his home when he invited our class for an end-of-term lunch, from some places you can actually see the depth of Israel with the naked eye, from the Mediterranean coastline to the Green Line and beyond. And travel here can be delightfully easy and fascinating, fueled by the feeling that you will be welcomed and included wherever you go. I'm sure that among the audience, many of you have taken advantage of such an opportunity, be you from further Eastern Asia, from Europe like me, from African countries, from China, or from wherever you may be. I know that I have experienced the deep welcome of this country. Yet for some this is not the case. Ideological and political hindrances and prejudices can reign supreme, making crossing even small distances next to impossible, and resulting not in the hospitality and inclusivity, but in hostility and exclusion. It is arguably easier for a student from faraway China to study here than for someone who lives 50 miles down the road. This was the case in at least one case that I know, a student from the West Bank who gave up their studies here at the university a week into the course because traveling to and from where she lived was too great a challenge, needing to cross several checkpoints on the way to university and back, and handle the psychological implications this carries. But such hindrances are part of the Israeli package. Israel therefore can offer very different experiences depending on who you are and where you come from. These past 2 years, I have lived in a mixed Jewish and Arab city called Lod. In my time in Lod, I lived and worked in a social change fellowship, in the course of which I taught English in an Arab high school. I met and discussed with a wide range of community leaders and representatives of the Ethiopian community, or with the mayor of Efrat, a settlement in the West Bank, or an ultra-Orthodox community leader, or Bedouin elders in the Negev, Druze youth in the north, asylum seekers in South Tel Aviv, and Likud members. This past year, I joined a mainly Jewish student organization in which I took part in projects aimed at strengthening the community of Lod. This initiative included Jews with heritages from Ethiopia, from Morocco, India, Yemen, Poland, Germany, Sweden, and many, many more. It also included people with varying degrees of religiosity, some who care not at all about religion, and some who, because of religion, couldn't eat the food I cooked because I'm not Jewish, unless someone put on the fire for me. I interned at an organization that cares for those that suffer psychological trauma from terror and war. All of this has taught me a lot about inclusiveness and community, but also about segregation and exclusion. Both sides of this coin, I feel, here in Israel, are fueled by the strong diversity and the varying intentions that are this country's reality, everybody jostling for space and a right to self-determination. This is the backdrop of this astonishing range of thought and character in which we have all lived and studied here in Israel. In my time here, I have learned to cook like a Yemeni, thank you, Ada, Talk like an Israeli, to write a CV like an American, and to ride an electric scooter like a madman. For those of you listening from outside of Israel, at home, in Mexico, in France, or Egypt, or India, or America, or wherever you may be, this is a small sample of the range of experiences and the culture available here if you go looking for it, and even if you don't. I'm surprised any of us actually did any studying during our time here, rather than stretching out our necks like an alpaca's to take in as much as possible, to drink, gulp, and swallow in all of the sights and sounds at our fingertips. My class here at University in Emergency and Disaster Management, as you might have noticed when we came in, was a very small one. A grand total of 8 people from many different countries that met several times a week for close to a year, from our very, very first class in teamwork to our very last class in leadership. That might make it sound like soft social skills is all we did. It wasn't. We learned about the impact of climate change on the length and intensity of naturally occurring disasters. Big surprise, it makes everything a lot worse. We learned how to write a public policy paper, discuss the principles of humanitarian aid, plan for the response during mass casualty events, learned how to communicate with a crowd. I hope I'm doing all right. Became familiar with cyber threats, chemical attacks, nuclear accidents, as well as methods of delivering mental first aid to people in severe distress. Tel Aviv University can truly pride itself on its hands-on approach to applicable knowledge. As part of our training, we drove north from here to what, on first glance, looks like a playground for giants, but is in actuality a training ground for search and rescue techniques. At the end of the day, our test consisted of us being alerted to an emergency situation, which we stormed together with our Israeli counterparts to find fire, sirens, smoking pits, and prone bodies that were trying to keep a smile off of their faces as they lay in mock pain. Had you been a bird in the air, you would have seen someone putting out a fire in one corner, some others lifting a dummy from a smoking pit with dubiously colored gases emitting from it in another, or people clinging to figures like little koalas maneuvering down a very long ladder. I was one of the koalas. Yet this hands-on approach is not the main thing that I will remember Tau for. What I will remember it for is inherent to that story. Search and rescue is based on the idea that individuals think and act together as a unit. What I found here at Tel Aviv University was an incredible nurturing of communal thought and collective action and an understanding of the role an individual can play in this. I have learned a great deal about how to work and function in collaboration with others during my time here. And this was coupled with unparalleled support from the teachers, helping students to excel in the classroom and out of it, with open ears and supporting hands in all aspects. The first and last classes of my course, Teamwork and Leadership, seem to have been placed just so in our calendar to represent the thought and practice of Tel Aviv University as I came to know it over the last year. A strong sense of community and communal action don't, however, always extend to everybody. These values themselves can contribute to excluding people that are not in one's perceived society. Israel at large cannot boast to have avoided such a selective attitude. Any university has the role of helping to widen the understanding of who is in and who is outside of a perceived society. I hope to see more people like the classmate from West Bank being included in the student body here, as I know many already are, to help shift that perception. For those of us returning to our home countries, Israel can serve in our memory as a reminder of how small the world really is, how many different religions, peoples, and opinions live and thrive in it. What this has taught me is that at the end of the day, we will have to make do with what we collectively have. This will depend on our ability to collaborate, not only with those in our chosen society, but crucially with those outside of it also. I believe and I hope I speak for all of us here that have studied this last year when I say that I will go home with a heightened sensitivity to this and with new knowledge to guide my way. I would like to express my sincere thanks to my classmates, my teachers, the faculty, and all those that have welcomed me here and supported me and everybody else who has studied here along the way. Toda rabba, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Pearl. It is now my pleasure to invite our keynote speaker tonight, Dr. Hila Dotan-Dickstein. Dr. Hila Dotan-Dickstein is a member of the Kohler School of Management and the Faculty of Social Sciences at Tel Aviv University. She specializes in business, international and diplomatic negotiations, and teaches international negotiations in the Diplomacy and Security Program for Executives and advanced negotiations in the Business School, as well as in the Mediation and Conflict Resolution Program at Tel Aviv University.
Okay. First of all, it is so exciting to see so many familiar faces. I have to clap right now. Congratulations already, the class of 2019. Okay. Good evening, honorable guests, Tau Vice President, Professor Raanan Reen, deans, faculty members, university administrators, parents, grandparents, sisters, brothers, friends, and of course, our graduating class. It is an honor for me to be speaking to you on this special day. Instead of a lengthy speech, I decided to address the graduating class with 5 lessons. 5 lessons that I've learned or have been also advised by others. I'll attempt at articulating my messages through personal stories that I hope will prove as valuable for you as they have been for me. And I hope you will begin this journey and you will be able to use at least some of them. So I want to talk about 5 lessons. The first one will be about the value of what I call intrinsic motivation, and in other words, for many people, passion. Okay? I want to talk about the value and the importance of each one of you being international ambassadors for us. I will then talk about the value of being an expert, and the value of excellence. The 4th lesson relates to education, and then finally, I definitely want to address our families here. So, the first lesson that relates to the value of identifying one's intrinsic motivation, which is also refers to as passion. As I started thinking about this speech today, I tried to take myself back to my own graduation. I have to say about 18 years ago. I grew up in the Netherlands and got my bachelor's degree in psychology and economics from the University of Utrecht. So I'm taking you now back to the Netherlands, to Utrecht. So this is now a few days after my graduating ceremony. I was sitting just like you guys, and so this is a few days afterwards, in the midst of me dealing with interviews, and I had just received an offer from a top consulting strategic firm. Now, I don't know how, but as a negotiations expert today, I must say I did pretty well for myself then. I got an amazing job. And in fact, I got everything I wanted. Now, my parents were guiding me through this process, and it was the night before I was supposed to actually sign the contract. And I just couldn't. I sat there and I couldn't sign that contract, and I couldn't commit. And, my parents were looking at me, and then my father took me and he sat me down and he said, Hila, you got everything you wanted. You have these offers. What's wrong? What's going on? And then he said, and he looked at me and he said, listen, if you could do and be anything in the world, what do you want to be? What do you want to do? And at that moment, and as I'm speaking and sharing with you this story, I'm going back to that moment, and I remember my mind going through basically what my father did at that time. He said to me, he opened all the doors in the world for me. And so as I thought about that question, I said to him, Dad, you know what? I know that I have to work with people. I have to be with people. And I want to help people. In fact, I'm so, I keep hearing so many people say that if they could quit their jobs, they would do so yesterday. Something's wrong. Why do people hate their jobs so much? So I want to help people find their freedom at work. I want people to really be happy in their jobs. So I know I want to do that. And then also as part of my degree at Utrecht University, I was also a research assistant, and so I loved research. So I told my dad, I have to do research. And so I have to combine this research and the psychology of people. And also, I'm not done. I was born here in Israel. I spent 12 years in the Netherlands, and I also did 1 year an exchange program to California, to UCLA. And I told my father, I'm not ready to settle in one country either. I want to see the world. I still want to do things and see things. And so my father looked at me and he said, wait, why don't you call your professor at UCLA when you did that exchange program? Maybe they need a research assistant. Now, thinking about that moment, okay, at that moment, it was 11 p.m. Netherlands time, I actually called. I called my professor at UCLA, it was morning, and I said, Professor Alvarez, listen, I have this, I explained the situation. Do you need a research assistant? And he said to me, no, but you know what? I think there's this great PhD program in organizational behavior in the business school here at UCLA. Why don't you try that? That night, that phone conversation with my father changed my entire life. In fact, it influenced my entire career choices, and in fact, it got me to where I am today. So, my message to you today, I want to encourage each one of you tonight. Ask that question. Ask yourself, what is my intrinsic motivation? What do I really, really want to do? What drives you? What moves you? Make sure that you ask that question tonight. Make sure that you ask it in 3 months. Make sure, it's almost like I want you to add it to your birthday calendar. And every year, make sure that you're actually doing what you really, really want. It is very difficult to succeed and to actually get to your destination if you don't like what you're doing. So think about this in terms of the process and also your destination. Okay, and so that's kind of my first lesson and advice in a sense. The second important lesson that I want to talk about is our duty as citizens of the world. So I was born here in Israel and moved when I was 10 to the Netherlands, and then I grew up in an international school at the International School of Amsterdam and at an international university in Utrecht. I then moved to California. I taught at various places across the globe, including Singapore, at the NUS, and taught and lectured across the globe. So I really, truly can relate to much of the backgrounds of this group. And given this international background, I want you to remember that what you guys have and what this is really a privilege. In fact, it's a gift what you have been given. You guys are extremely unique and have an advantage that many of your possible competitors or colleagues have not received. In fact, you have been given a gift that you should cherish dearly and spread these special values of tolerance and respect. For most of you, listening to other ways of thinking and respecting other cultures and ways of behaving is a part of your nature. Respecting, being accepting, open, and tolerant to other countries and cultures is certainly not a trait, as we see that many others in other countries, and even in your home countries, it's not a part of their nature. Which leads to my second lesson, and actually a request. I want you to remember that with this gift that you've been given, this international experience, you also have a responsibility to act as international ambassadors. By this, I mean that you have engraved in you unique values, ethics, and global sense of integrity that must be spread. Many of you are indeed still very young, in your early 20s, and as some students have said to me before, during interviews or internships, I don't have the experience yet. They treat me like a child here. What can I do? What power do I have? Indeed, many of you are young, but do not be afraid of being young. Don't be afraid of sharing what you think. You actually have this international experience, and you have been exposed to things that some people, even in the 80s, have never experienced. Think about it. You left your countries, you were thrown in another country, and you survived. Not only you survived, you got a degree along the way. Okay? You have something that many people have not had the privilege to enjoy. So remember, the future is truly in your hand, and it's going to be sooner than you think. The moment that you leave here, you will enter the real world. You are the future leaders. You are the future businesswomen and businessmen. You are the future diplomats, mediators, musicians, artists, scientists, and doctors. You can already begin to make the change. Indeed, always stay open to learning and growing and improving yourself, but don't underestimate what you already have. As John McAfee actually said, the ones who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who actually do. Moreover, and quite unfortunately, there are parts of the world that are experiencing massacres, human torturing, climate devastation, corruption, and abuse. In a world of technological abuse, fake news, and where leaders of the world sometimes neglect their own integrity and values, we need to act now, and we cannot afford to wait. So please do not wait for others to do something, for others to correct things. It's time for you to do the right thing and to make the change. Oprah Winfrey put it, integrity is doing the right thing, knowing that nobody's going to know whether you did it or not. The third lesson relates to my belief regarding the path to success, excellence. After mentoring a lot of students across the globe and my own experience, I have learned that being an expert and striving for excellence has been highly rewarding. Being truly excellent at what you do is key to both career success, but probably more importantly, to your confidence and acceptance by others and your colleagues. I saw this often in my own negotiation experience in my training of world managers and executives, managers who proved themselves as experts in a particular field and who truly felt as experts in a negotiation were more respected by their colleagues. So my advice to you, become an expert. Be the best, at least in one field. For many of us, that also becomes our identity, it becomes our confidence. There is nothing like entering a room and knowing, a room where there are top leaders, top physicians. When you enter the room, you know you are the expert. There's so much value to that. I highly, highly encourage you to do that, or at least to aspire to that. Okay. So now I want to take you to my fourth lesson, education. This is the lesson that I remember receiving from my late grandmother, a Holocaust survivor. And already at the age of 6, she would tell me, they took everything from me, everything. The only thing they could not take and they didn't take is my kop, she said, my brain, my knowledge. If we look at many of the most successful and even richest people in the world, including Bill Gates, late Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, all three, in fact, actually are college dropouts. You do not need a degree to be successful. However, I hope you realize that one of the key competitive advantages that you have received here at Tel Aviv University and your previous academic institution is your ability to think. You have been given the opportunity to explore other perspectives, to see the solution for the same problem from another lens. You have been exposed to leading research in each field, as well as taught to collect data, to investigate different types of data to investigate the same phenomena. The faculty here have been exposing you to an n equals a million, or even more, and not merely an n equals 1 or 2. You have been given tools to evaluate a decision process, a strategy, an ethical problem. You've been given tools to think of the consequences at several levels of analysis and consider the time perspective. You've been exposed to top practitioners and theoreticians, and some of you are already involved in the processes of developing some of the most advanced technologies. Likewise, you have been allowed and encouraged to question unethical behavior and to think of the alternative approach. Here at Tau, we have been trying to instill in you ethics and values that I hope you will take with you into all your encounters and decisions across the globe. I want to ask you that you remember the importance of education, both as parents to your own children and families, but as educators to colleges, to your colleagues, bosses, and government officials. Remember that it is only through education that we can engrave our values of respect, equality, justice, democracy, and human rights. I ask that you remember to come back and educate the future generations. Don't expect that it will just happen. It is all our responsibility to demonstrate these critical values and live by them. To further illustrate this point, I want to take you back to 1986 to Nelson Mandela in South Africa. As a quick recap, remember that Nelson Mandela was imprisoned for 27 years. At some point, for good behavior, he was taken by one of his guards on a drive to Cape Town. On the way back, the guard stopped out to actually go get some Coke, Diet Coke or something like that. He left Nelson Mandela in the car with the keys in there. Nelson Mandela could have fled in a second, and he would have been able to disappear. Mandela decided to stay. When he was asked, "Why did you stay?" he said, "To be free, it is not merely a cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others." So I want you to remember the importance of education. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And lastly, I want to talk about the real important, and I left it best for last. I want you to all remember your social system, your families and friends. And remember not to take them for granted, okay? First of all, I think this is the perfect time to thank all the families that came from all across the globe to celebrate your graduation. I have been blessed by parents and a family that has been supporting and motivating me my entire life. I know this is not for everybody, and not everybody has had that, but we all have a support system. I want you that when you leave tonight, you go back to your support system, your parents, your family, your good friends, and thank them. I want you not to forget to thank people, because that's what also gives them the motivation to stay there for you. I want them to be there for you and to continue. Don't forget to thank them. Another thing, and this, I have to say this, okay? This is for all the women, career women out there. It is possible to balance a family and a career, okay? It is possible, and I can say as a mother of 4 small children, as a wife, as a daughter, okay? It is possible. And you, as a negotiations expert, you set your own price ceiling. Nobody else will set that ceiling for you, okay? So remember that, and don't fall into that statistic. Brothers, fathers, grandparents, remember, this is not a women's issue. It is a social issue, and we're all responsible to take care of this. And finally, and this is also a small message to the parents, but mostly for you. Remember, it is your life. Do not live the life of others. Live your lives. And as parents in particular, and now as a parent myself, I know it is difficult, and I can totally see how we may want to impact and influence our children to go in the direction that we may want, or to do the things that we have missed. I want you to remember, it is your life. I want to finish with a quote from one of our famous singers, from Arik Einstein. It's a song called Uf Gozal. He says, Uf Gozal, chatoch et hashamayim, uf lecha, אבל אל תשכח, יש נשר בשמיים, and be aware. What it means is, go youngster, go fly in the sky, make a mark in the sky. But be aware, because there are eagles in the sky, so be aware of it. So class of 2019, I want you now, it is your time to make your marks in the sky. And there are eagles in the sky, so be aware. But if you do this with integrity, with ethics, while being true to your intrinsic motivation, while with the support of your families, you will make your marks with honor, a world, a global honor. Go make your marks. Thank you very, very much. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Hila. Wasn't she wonderful? I took notes. Please welcome once again Dana Albo and Arnon Ziv, who will now perform a song familiar to anyone who has small children and who listens to the local radio station lately, Shevet Achim Ve'achayot, a tribe of brothers and sisters by Doron Medali and Idan Reichel. Behind them, you will see the lyrics in Hebrew and English that tell the story of Israel's diversity in a very inspiring way.
You're more than welcome to join us. 70 שנה במכונית, אני נוסע ומביט על מה היה ומה נהיה, ואיך נפשי עוד הומייה מהמצדה של הזריחות, ירושלים בסליחות, בחוף כנרת באכזיב, מהמסיבות של תל אביב, אבי חלם והתפלל לחיות בארץ ישראל. היום ילדי אותי שואל מה הסיפור של ישראל. כאן זה בית, כאן זה לב, ואותך אני לא עוזב. אבותינו שורשים ואנחנו הפרחים, המנגינות, שבט אחים ואחיות. אותה שכונה, אותו רחוב, תריס ארבנים של יעקב, אוספים ביחד נדודים בתוך תרמיל געגועים. אדם הוא נוף מולדתו, חורת קווים בכף ידו, בין התפילות ונדרים, ריחות פרדס של הדרים, ובעיניה של אמי תמיד אמצא את מקומי, על הגיטרה מתנגן ניגון עתיק שמכוון. כאן זה בית, כאן זה לב, ואותך אני לא עוזב. אבותינו שורשים ואנחנו הפרחים, המנגינות, שבט אחים ואחיות. מבראשית הכל תפור, טלאים טלאים של הסיפור, כמו שתי מילים להתחבר בחוט זהב של משורר. אני מכאן, אני שייך, וכל חבר שלי כמו אח. אתה פועמת בלבבי, אני מזרח מערבי. כאן זה בית, כאן זה לב, ואותך אני לא עוזב. אבותינו שורשים ואנחנו הפרחים, המנגינות, שבט אחים ואחיות. כאן זה בית, כאן זה לב, ואותך אני לא עוזב. אבותינו שורשים ואנחנו הפרחים, המנגינות, שבט אחים ואחיות, שבט אחים ואחיות.
Thank you to Dana and Arnon. When students decide to do their masters at Tel Aviv University, there is much more to their experience than the academic program. This year, we had a wonderful team of counselors in charge of our graduate students. Naomi and Danielle have been extremely involved in the extracurricular life of many of you throughout the year and in the organization of tonight's event. I think they deserve a round of applause for their wonderful work. Naomi and Danielle would now like to say a few words.
Hi, everyone. We are so happy and so excited to be standing here with all of you today. And we know that you are at least as excited as we are. Today, we celebrate a huge achievement that is no trivial matter. From the time that you have decided to take a leap of faith and come study in this special country, and all the way up until today, you have all accomplished great things, worked through difficult challenges, and found your way in a new environment with new people, a strange language, and a completely new culture. You've had to find a place to live, get a Rav-Kav, give up on public transportation and get a scooter, sit in class, learn new things, find new friends, become a family, and take on Tel Aviv one Thursday night at a time.
As your student life counselors, we feel so fortunate to have accompanied you on this very exciting journey. Watching as you set your goals, put in the effort to make your journey successful, overcome obstacles, and learn new things every day has been nothing short of inspiring. Whether it was through helping with travel insurance, checking you in or out of the dorms, hiking with you on trips, going on tours, partying with you, or just seeing you around campus, we were always greeted with your smiles, impressed with your hard work, and overjoyed at your willingness to give to others. As we got to know more and more of you and became comfortable with this dynamic role of being student life counselors, we've learned some very valuable lessons.
Seeing Israel through your eyes was fascinating, and we feel lucky to have acquired this new and refreshing point of view. Meeting such a diverse group of students from all over the world has been a unique privilege for us, as though we have traveled the world without ever having to leave the country. Meeting you gave us a glimpse into your hometowns and into the beautiful cultures this world has to offer. Now, more than ever, we know how important it is to make others feel welcomed, and how varied points of view can enrich our understanding of this world. We both know that we will carry these insights with us wherever we go, and we have all of you to thank for that.
After this evening, as each one of you continues your journey, we hope that the experiences that you've gathered here at Tel Aviv University will remain with you and influence how you see the world and your role within it. We hope these tools will help you wherever you're headed next to create a better and brighter future for us all. In a world where being different isn't always easy, we believe that the foreign experience teaches us an important lesson, and we're positive you will remember it, carry it with you, and do great things wherever you go. We're proud of you, we'll miss you, and we wish you the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we would like to show you or present a short video that we've made with some of the fun stuff that we did together throughout the year.
May you have auspiciousness and causes of success. May you have the confidence to always do your best. May you take no effort in your being generous, sharing what you can, nothing more, nothing less. May you know the meaning of the word happiness. May you always lead from the beating in your chest. May you be treated like an esteemed guest. May you get to rest, may you catch your breath. May the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. Whoa. May the road less paved be the road that you follow. Whoa. Well, here's to the hearts that you're gonna break. Here's to the lives that you're gonna change. Here's to the infinite possible ways to love you. I want you to have it. Here's to the good times we're gonna have. You don't need money, got a free pass. Here's to the fact that I'll be sad without you. I want you to have it all. 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 May you be as fascinating as a slap bracelet. May you keep the chaos and the clutter off your desk. May you have unquestionable health and less stress. Having no possessions, though immeasurable wealth. May you get a gold star on your next test. May your educated guesses always be correct. And may you win prizes shining like diamonds. May you really own it each moment to the next. May the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. Whoa. May the road less paved be the road that you follow. Whoa. Well, here's to the hearts that you're gonna break. Here's to the lives that you're gonna change. Here's to the infinite possible ways to love you. I want you to have it. Here's to the good times we're gonna have. You don't need money, you got a free pass. Here's to the fact that I'll be sad without you. I want you to have it all. Your path is, if you believe it, then anything can happen. Go, 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 raise your glasses. Go, 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 you can have it all. I told you, here's to the hearts that you're gonna break. Here's to the lives that you're gonna change. Here's to the infinite possible ways to love you. I want you to have it. Here's to the good times we're gonna have. You don't need money, got a free pass. Here's to the fact that I'll be sad without you. I want you to have it all. 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 I want you to have it. Here's to the good times we gonna have. Here's to you always making me laugh. Here's to the fact that I'll be sad without you. I want you to have it all. Here's to the good times we gonna have. Here's to you always making me laugh. Here's to the fact that I'd be sad without you. I want you to have it all.
Thank you, Naomi and Danielle. What a beautiful and emotional video. We've now reached the highlight of the evening, the part where I'm upset that I forgot my Fitbit this morning. I'm pleased to invite the programs one by one to come up on stage. Students, we're going to take lots of pictures of you. So I ask you to take note and to pause for a few seconds when you get off the stage so that the photographers can take your picture. Mr. Corey Gill-Schuster, Program Director, and Epi Yar, Head of the Program, will introduce the students of the MA in Conflict Resolution and Mediation.
Epi, just stand here. Yeah. easier that way. So guys, start making your way up, starting with conflict resolution and mediation. Jamie Adams. This never works well. Okay. Jamie Adams. Just this one. Natalie Bedenian. Sabrina Blochinger. Marine Bretonnier. I'll shake after. Yvonne Bua. Adam Burton. Cameron Kushner. Hannah Dawson. Alexandra De Matteo. Alexandra Egger. Yael Guillot. Daria Glaznova. Jennifer Goldenberg. Martha Hewitson. Always welcome. Elmira Kakabieva. That's good, huh? Hima Karibukta. I wasn't so good at that. And John Cow. Madeline Lieben. No, after. Danielle Levy. Aubrey Long. Emily Meckler. Emily Miller. Astrid Machon. Noemi de Miguel Mota. Cheng Peng. Stephanie Schneider. Maya Shabi. Jin Sun. I'm not trying your first name. And Harry Jadao Wang. And we also want to welcome to the stage Susana Sanchez Munoz on behalf of the Migration Studies program that finishes our program this year. Congratulations, all of you.
Thank you. Professor Carney Ginsberg, head of the program, and Mrs. Neely Palmore, administrative director, will introduce the students of the MA in Social Work, the International Program in Crisis and Trauma.
Okay. Madeleine Appel. Ellie Atias. Nicole Bell. Rebecca Cohen Barlev, Benjamin Dem, Hannah Elbaz, Samantha Halpern, Renee Hansen, Sharon Moreau, Tomoko Oji, Galia Radosh, Paris Rodin, Laura Tatar, and I would like also to mention those who couldn't be here with us tonight, Anael Haddad, Leilani Aldrich, Jonathan Present, and Melissa Dance. Thank you.
I think you took my speech with you. I look young, but I'm quite senile. Some small technical difficulties. Anyway, Dr. Bruria Adini, head of the department, Mr. Gili Shenar, academic coordinator, will introduce the students of the MPH in Emergency and Disaster Management.
All of us could see now the essence of disaster management. It's teamwork. What happened now showed that this is the best solution. So good for you.
Melanie? Maria? Okay. Catherine? Zach? Sean? Carol? And Emma.
Oh, thank you. I took my speech with me this time. Professor Udi Benayahu, head of the program, and Mrs. Yahel Haleniv, program coordinator, will introduce the students of the MA in Environmental Studies.
Anirudh Kenny, Shiran Mostovoy, Max Rosenthal, Zoe Sher, Adriani Silva, also graduating today but couldn't arrive because they're back home, Naomi Lecard, Willow Miller, Yair Levine, and Ellery Wang.
Professor Michael Bernhack, Associate Dean for Research and Director of the program, as well as Ms. Pamela Weidman, LLM Admissions and Marketing Coordinator, will introduce the students of the Parasol Foundation International LLM Program.
Conrad Graylich. Axel Loiser. Nicholas Subia. And Temeskin Yadesa. And we'd like to congratulate all of our other students who weren't able to make it or back home in their respective countries.
Professor Meir Litvak, head of the program, and Ms. Razy Kievman, the Admissions and Marketing Coordinator, will introduce the students of the MA in Middle Eastern Studies.
And now for the MAMIS program. Tina Adcock. Jack Armstrong III. Joanna Burger. Vilde Constant Gunderson. Sarah Asnawi. Yehuda Savit. Maria Joseph. Hannah Cass. Zach Kerner. Ezekiel Kolker. Yutong Lee. Dong Lu. Jordan Metcalf. Diana Osipova. Adam Shields. Sholi Kwa.
Dr. Leslie Brudeau, head of the program, and Ms. Inbal Sasson, manager of student affairs, will introduce the students of the SOFR Global MBA.
Sharon Aaroni. Aladdin Ahmed. Moha Ashawamer. Moshe Arazi. Abigail Balaish. Michael Blattner. Philip Gross. Gal Harosh. Heba Jaber. Daniel Odesser. Shira Sabag. Robbie Sasson. Eros. Philip Schickman. Yafet Alker. Kyle Ungerman. Daniela Vasquez. Yifi Wei. Congratulations. Dana Virovnik. Sapir Yarden. Chenxia Zheng. And of course, to congratulate all of our students who couldn't make it today because they're abroad. Thank you.
Dr. Michal Tannenbaum, lecturer in the TESOL program and head of the Multilingual Education Program in the School of Education, and Ilana Spector-Cohen, director of the program, will introduce the students of the MA in TESOL program.
Niveen, Niveen Abdelrahman, Hiba Daraushe, Rim Sawayed, Ala Yasser, and we congratulate all of our other graduates who could not come today. Congratulations to all.
Thank you all for coming, and to everybody who made this year and this ceremony memorable. Students, we wish you all the best for the future and hope that in the coming years you will achieve all of your goals and that your dreams will become realities. Can we give them another clap? Before we throw the caps, you're all welcome for a l'chaim outside the hall. Students, please remember to return your caps and gowns to the counter downstairs. And there will be magnets waiting for you. If you want to check them, they will be outside somewhere. Okay. So we make a really big deal about the caps and gowns, about throwing the caps. So I'd like to ask the photographers to come closer, maybe on stage. And we'll ask all of the graduates to stand. Parents, get ready with your cameras. Photographers are ready? Guys, we didn't throw it yet. You put it back on your head. Put it back on your head. Class of 2019, everyone. All right, are you ready? Put it back on your head. Is everyone ready? I'm going to count to 3 really slowly. And at 3, I want everybody to throw their caps in the air together so we can get a really cool picture, because that's what it's all about in the end. The picture for the memory, am I right? Okay, can everyone count with me? 1, 2, 3. Mazal tov, everyone. Congratulations.